I want to go over how to hand solve an equation in matrix form. And as I said, it's more that you should understand the theory here, not that you should practice this on the homework very much, maybe do one like this. The idea being that there are higher maths where this skill will come up. You might need to know this, so it's worth having at least a passing interest, a passing glance at it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this in matrix form. So I have 1, 3, negative 6, 7, 2, negative 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, negative 1. And so x, y, z, and your answer over here. And a lot of times they'll put a line there to show that's where the answers go. And what you want to do is you want to turn this diagonal into zeros, and then you want everything under here to be zeros. So I want this to be ones and these to be zeros. I'm okay with the top half staying however they are, because then I'm going to use back substitution. So this is the row echelon or row transformation thing with back substitution. And this is, if you're going to do it by hand, this is what I consider the easiest method. Now, you may disagree. There's other methods in the book. You're more than welcome to check them out. You can do the full method where you get do the top in zeros first, but that's a lot of extra work. Then there's the inverse method in 7.6, and you're welcome to check that out as well. So just like with identities, I find it easiest to start by trying to get zeros first. So when I look at this, I can see that, hey, I already have a 1 here. That's a good start. So I'm going to take that row and I'm going to do negative 2 times row 1 plus row 2 to replace row 2. And remember, this is always the row that gets replaced. So then I'm going to multiply through row 2 and I get negative 2, negative 6, 12, negative 14. Okay, but then when I go to rewrite it down here, I'm going to get this, I'm going to leave as is, right? So I'm not actually going to rewrite it that way, but I'm using that kind of as my intermediary step here. And then I'm going to add this. So 2 plus negative 2 is 0, which was my point. And then here I get a negative 7. Let's see here. What do I get next? I get 14. And then I get negative 14 because I have 0 plus negative 14. And then the bottom is going to stay the same because I didn't do anything to it. So you can see I made a step in the right direction. Now I want to do this again, okay? But I want to now get rid of this one here. Okay, so I'm going to do negative row 1 plus row 3 to replace row 3. So then that's going to be, this is negative 1, negative 3, 6, negative 7. So then when I go to do this, this stays the same. Okay, this stays the same. So I haven't changed anything yet. And then I'm going to add to the bottom. So that's a 0. That's a negative 2. That's an 8. And that's a negative 8. Okay, so at this point, this is what my matrix looks like. And I'm like, okay. Now I've got to kind of decide, okay, do I want to try to get rid of a number? And I think what I'm going to try to do next here is I am going to focus on getting rid of this because I have 0. So this seems like a good step at this point, kind of cleans some up. So I'm going to do negative 1/7 times row 2. Okay, so then my top row is going to stay the same, 3, negative 6, 7. My middle row here is going to become 0, 1, negative 2, 2. Okay, that seems like that's an improvement. And then my bottom row stays the same because I didn't do anything with it. Okay, I'm making progress. Okay, so my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, okay, well, I want to get rid of this. So I'm going to do 2, jumping the gun here, 2 times row 2 plus row 3 to replace row 3. Okay, so then row 2 is going to be 0, 2, negative 4, 4. So then I'm going to get 1, 3, negative 6, 7. Okay, row 1, this one comes down as is. And then I get here, let's see here, I get 0, 0, 4, negative 4. Okay, I feel like I've made some progress here. Okay, so now at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I have all the zeros I wanted. And you can see by getting the zeros first, it does help expedite things. So all I need to do is I need to change this. So I'm going to do 1/4 times row 3. So 1, 3, negative 6, 7, 0, 1, negative 2, 2, and then 0, 0, 1, negative 1. Okay. So at this point, I have reduced it enough that I can turn this back into equations. And y, as I'll show you, I have x minus 3y minus 6z equals 7, y minus 2z equals 2, and then I have z equals negative 1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back solve. So I know what z is, so I'm going to put z into this one, and I get y plus 2 equals 2, so y equals 0. Then I'm going to take this and this into this one, and I get x minus 0 plus, because that's going to zero out, plus 6, because the zeros, and then equals 7. So then I get x equals 1. So my solution is 1, 0, negative 1. So that's the process for doing this by hand. As I said, I don't expect you to do this on tests or even most of the homework, but I would recommend you do it once on one of the homeworks, because there are times when if there was variables in here, I couldn't put this into my calculator, and that will happen to you at times in higher math classes. So it's worth understanding the process. You're more than welcome to look at the method for solving by inverses as well, or the full row echelon method. But this is what I consider the easiest way to do it by hand. And obviously, 2 pages of work is not necessarily easy. The numbers to me are a dyslexic's nightmare. So this as a 3-variable system would be so much easier to solve by the regular methods you learned back in algebra class versus this method. But obviously once you get to 4 or 5 variables, this is often faster, and obviously much faster when you can put it into the calculator.